We talk a lot about funnels in marketing, but real customer journeys are rarely linear. They're messy, emotional, full of unknowns, and often shaped by more micro moments than major milestones. In this episode of Dear Marketer, we are unpacking what it really means to market across the entire customer journey, not just to convert, but to connect. We'll get into how brands can show up when it matters most, how to move from static drip campaigns to dynamic trigger-based experiences, and why post-purchase might just be your most underused playground. And helping us navigate all of this is Avinash Janjire, who heads marketing at Thomas Cook India and has been building marketing systems that don't just push messages, but follow the customers all the way through. So thank you so much, Avinash, for joining me in this episode of Dear Marketer. So happy to have you here.
Thank you very much. I must say you have a lovely campus. Thank you very much for inviting me.
So happy to have you here because you've traveled all the way from there to Chennai for this particular episode. And there's so much. I'm really excited to talk to you more about your journey and what is your take on marketing as such. So I'm super excited to host you.
Let's see how it goes.
Okay, so I see your career journey, right? From the beginning, you started out from an agency, and then you are moving on to, there's a media, there's retail, then now there's travel. So all of this has a very different tempo. So media is more immediate, and retail is more like, razor sharp on margins. And then you now have travel, which I still feel is a partly emotional connection is also there in travel. So how did you start off, when you sit down and look at your career journey entirely, what are the different turning points? What are the things that you learned from your career graph?
So, frankly, I won't say there are any specific defining moments or that changed my perspective towards marketing. And it is also because I've been, like you said, across different industries. So I spent some time in some of really large organizations like Future Group, and then Reliance, which are behemoths in their own ways. Then I spent some time in advertising agencies. Advertising agencies typically tend to be smaller setups, but the ones that I worked are globally respected, but relatively smaller setup. They are more like family, small units, close-knit units. And then I did some startup, and last almost a decade now, I'm with Thomas Cook, which is a legacy brand, been around for 145 years also. So, and depending on where you are, the challenges and the realities are very different. As a brand, are you a leader? Are you a challenger? Are you a startup which is completely afresh? So I think your approach any which ways changes a lot because of the reality of who you are as a brand. One big mindset shift that I had after having moved from media, and media was largely media selling and advertising in general, to managing clients and managing brand and being a marketer, was in advertising, my life revolved largely around creating a 30-second commercial or a large print ad, because print used to be big that time, not so much anymore. But it was only about this, right? Everything that we did, actually, the 30-second film or a half-page ad was the be-all and end-all of it. Once we cracked a great creative, that was like a great satisfaction for all of us. Okay. But when you become a marketeer, there are hundreds of things that define marketing. Communication is one small piece. Everything starts and ends with consumer. Then you have to look at product, packaging. You have to look at your distribution, loyalty, repeat value, life cycle. There are so many things that a marketeer thinks of.
Okay, now that you're looking back at journey sitting right here with me, are you happy?
Yeah, more than happy. Yeah,
okay.
More than happy.
Is it something you envisioned that you would be here, leading a 145-year legacy company, marketing?
I didn't plan for it. It happened. Okay. But yeah, can't complain. I think we are living in exciting times. Travel is a great this thing. Overall, as a landscape, how it is changing is really dynamic.
When I was reading through your profile, I came across that campaigns that you've done has got Guinness World Record and then has been in Cannes Lions as well. So I want you to talk a little about how that happened. What was the strategy behind it, and how did you execute it?
So there are two completely different campaigns. So I'll probably talk about the Guinness World Record, but this was for an organization called Future Generali, which is part of Future Group. It was the life insurance and general insurance company. As the industry itself 10 years ago, to a certain extent, I think even now, though COVID would have changed it, is very low penetrated. It has less than 4% penetration in the Indian context, which means there is little awareness or understanding of the product itself. And the category was dominated by large behemoths like any bank you name, large banks, and they were already there. HDFC, ICICI, Bajaj, Kotak Mahindra, and of course LIC. Likewise, within this 4% market share, all these behemoths played. And then we were almost the 19th or 20th player who was entering the category. So the biggest challenge was to even get noticed amongst these giants. Forget about being in the consideration set and getting people to buy from you. So we had to keep that in mind, that unless and until we do something really disruptive, we don't stand a chance. We got down to the drawing board and started thinking about a campaign, and we actually worked with some of the great names that time. I don't know if you would know, or your viewers would currently know, there's somebody like Prasoon Pandey who directed the film, was a giant or doyen at that time. Piyush Mishra was a very respected character artist who acted in the film, and the whole premise was insurance is always, like I said, sold on the fact of fear. People bought it when something bad happened in the family, or somebody fell sick, so medical insurance, let's go for it. Some death in the family, oh, we might not, life insurance. So it was also sold based on the emotion of fear. We said, if I have to disrupt something, is there a alternate way of looking at it? So we thought, can we position it as a way or a tool to feel freedom or liberation, that if I actually bought insurance, in case something happens, at least my family is taken care of. So it is also a tool for making you feel free, freedom, secure, than almost feeling guilty. Oh, what if I don't? What will happen to that? Whatever. Hence the core thought of the campaign was sign karo, mukti paho. The good thing for us was we had access to Big Bazaar, and if you remember that time, Big Bazaar was a giant. Big Bazaar was at its peak. They had 100+ stores, million+ footfalls every day, and we were part of Future Group, so we had access to Big Bazaars. So while the film was airing with this message, we also had an activation across 110 Big Bazaars for almost a month. So it was one of the largest activation that I have seen or been a part of. And we spoke to millions of consumers. The whole idea was educating people about insurance. We knew that nobody comes to a mall to buy an insurance. So hence we never even tried to try and sell an insurance. We just told people the benefits of insurance, and people who seemed a little convincing or were open to that message, we got them to sign a pledge. Where I consider buying insurance, or it is good for me, or that kind of a simple pledge, because he said sign karo mukti paye, translating in a physical act of trying to commit to buying insurance. For every pledge that we signed, the whole idea was, can we release 500,000 balloons similar and try to create a world record during that time. Instead of releasing them, we created a giant umbrella, because umbrella is also seen as protection. Security, protection is a metaphor for all of that, or symbol for all of that. So we created a giant umbrella with all those balloons. We hired a huge ground in Mumbai and created a giant umbrella. And then obviously the Guinness team came and adjudged that for being the longest balloon chain ever made in human history. And the length of those balloons, 500,000 balloons in that ground, because they were all in single row, was 22 kilometers. So that is the whole idea.
Amazing to hear this. 22 kilometers is almost from Zoho to city kind of a distance from here.
It was one single ground, hence it was counted as, we couldn't do it long enough.
So I can see that your eyes are lighting up as you're talking about it. A lot of campaigns that we do. I mean, to be honest, today maybe those initial careers, the campaigns or larger things that we do, we always get this kind of excitement or enthusiasm that acha chalo ho gaya, and then this is the impact we got. You have the celebration mode. But these days, after being in marketing for so long, you kind of tend that, okay, even this entire campaign with all of you guys, with CMOs and head of marketing of big companies, it's like, okay, let's execute it. Let's do it, and उसके बाद celebration होगा, चलो होगा, नहीं होगा तो नहीं होगा.
See, because it's become too fast, no?
Yeah.
See, earlier most brands would have 2 or 3 large campaigns in a year,
Yeah.
and you worked months to work on a campaign. Today we don't even get weeks to do something, and you're all on an always on mode, right?
Yeah.
Because of social, every day you are on a treadmill to create something.
Yeah. So Thomas Cook been in the company for a decade now. What inspired you first to stay in this field for such long time? I'm sure it's the company first, and then the domain also, travel, etc. So can you elaborate on that?
You are right. I think what drew me first was obviously because of travel from outside. Actually find everybody thinks it's a really nice, sexy business. The first reaction that I usually got when I talk to people here in Thomas Cook, oh, you must be traveling all the time. But unfortunately, that myth was busted within first few weeks. We don't travel as much as people think we do.
Okay.
But yes, there are a handful of people who are actually core to managing travel. They get to travel, but not everybody is traveling.
Right.
But yes, we have access to some inside information, employee offers, all of that. Though yes, so the lure of this exciting industry was one of the reasons, and also obviously the brand, because Thomas Cook is one brand which is actually, I can't think of, even today I can't think of any brand who's actually been in India for more than 100 odd years and consistently being successful over such a long period of time.
Right, got it. Travel in per se, there's a lot of thinking, exploring, wondering that happens from the customer's point of view. First, to select which company should I go with to have my holidays planned. That in itself is a really big, with a lot of ads getting bombarded here and there, and literally everybody is like, even the smallest company is like, I can plan a trip for you to Jammu and Kashmir today. So that is one of this thing where customers are constantly, thinking first, which travel company should I choose? So that's one barrier that, is there. Second one is, after they come in, there's no quick decision making. The cycle is like too long until they land, like, okay, I am okay with this plan, I'm okay with this itinerary, I'm okay with this package, the budget, and then for them to go on. Now, from your point of view, it will be very difficult to follow through them in the entire customer journey, and also associate a marketing strategy with the entire life cycle, right? So can you explain more on that?
I think I've always been a proponent of trying to do both at some time, where you always consistently have a brand story to tell. At the same time, you need to also be very aggressive on whether it is performance marketing, whether it is search engine optimization or search engine marketing, or your distribution, availability, everything plays a role. So like you said, buying a holiday itself is an emotional decision, because of family. It's one vacation that everybody takes throughout the year. Everybody is looking forward to it. It's a family decision, not just a single individual. And there are multiple touch points, right from the time the first call that we receive at the call center, or somebody walks into a branch, till the time they took it. So usually 3-4 weeks, and there are multiple interactions. At every touch point, you have to give them the assurance. Also, one big factor, I think, within travel, and that I think to a great extent, India is more as a DIFM society, which is where do it for me. We are not a DIY society, right? Do it yourself. While some components of travel are more increasingly becoming DIY, like today nobody thinks of buying a flight, right? Going to a travel agent for a flight. You go to any of the OTAs and book it on their own. But the moment you have to book an international holiday, which is a high value purchase, on an average people spend between 8 to 10 lakhs on a holiday. There are so many components like flights, hotels, what kind of meals, and Indians are very finicky about Indian meals, and visas, documentation, whatever. It's at every touch point you have to give them the assurance, give them that trust, do it with a lot of warmth, and also a lot of right product curation that happens. So at every touch point you have to tell people that you are the right partner. that happens, and consistently, because like you said, it's a very fragmented category. You can't be everywhere, hence you also have to be present everywhere.
Right.
So and just to give you some statistics, while we have about 150 odd stores across almost 90 plus cities, 50 to 60% of the demand for those cities comes from digital as an nature. So even retail. So people are researching, discovering your brand online and then going to the store and converting. So even that presence or discoverability matters. So when somebody, and lot of these searches are not, might also happen for the brand. So somebody might say Thomas Cook Europe, but some people will also say best time to go to Europe. So if somebody is searching best time to go to Europe, am I present there?
Right.
Can I do my search engine optimization in such a way that I'm present there? Or you spend on search engine marketing and be present there?
Right, got it. Now, how does content marketing play a huge role? Because before, travel was more about talking about different places, some guides, some blogs, some people would write about, and even companies started doing it as well, travel companies. But now the content marketing game has changed altogether. So, how is content marketing different or evolving in travel also? What are the different things that are getting added on?
Earlier, over the last maybe 7-8 years, we've invested heavily in trying to build a huge text content library, blogs and all, because that was the bedrock of search engine optimization. The
Right.
more content you have, you use the right keywords, hopefully your brand will be discovered. But AI is to a certain extent taking away that advantage, because AI doesn't even give you a link anymore. So your organic traffic and discoverability is questionable these days. So and there is also a big shift from people reading to people watching videos. Videos are also something which has changed with the advent of Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. Short form video content is really changed the game over the last few years.
Yeah.
So this habit of less reading, AI coming in and taking away, changing the way search results are happening, and video becoming mainstay. People love to watch a video than read a blog, is where the change in content marketing is also happening. So we also invest a lot of time, effort and money in trying to build content with about the like we spoke about the cohorts earlier. Depending on what cohort we are talking to, are we able to churn out videos around it? So I think it has become more video first, though it's not, I won't say that the blogs and all has become completely irrelevant,
Right.
because to a still certain extent the basics of SEO haven't changed.
Right, yeah.
There is some tweaking happened. So it's a combination of text content along with really fast turnaround around video, and a lot of it is moved to Instagram. Earlier it was more about what you're doing in overall digital, but I think it is a lot on YouTube, Instagram, YouTube,
Right.
and move to video based. So it's almost show and tell. Instead of writing reels and reams of content, it's almost people want to see it firsthand.
Right, got it. Major part of travel is anxiety, because there could be visa delays, there could be itinerary issues, there could be flight cancellations or whatsoever. Your customer, there is a chance that they could be anxious, or they could have this kind of a discomfort when they are opting out on a travel, on a trip. So how does marketing, from your perspective, how can anxiety be a point where you can bring back the loyalty of the customer, or they can feel like, oh, Thomas Cook did this for me, or this company took over it? So this goes beyond marketing. So what's your take on that?
So basically you're talking about turning an adversity into a benefit.
Yes.
or loyalty. In fact, we have very recent examples of that, and actually that is also why brands like us or service like us still exists, in spite of so much of proliferation of tech, adoption of tech, people becoming more and more confident with booking travel online. Like I said, nobody thinks about going to an agent or a travel operator anymore to book a ticket.
Right.
But when I'm planning for a long international holiday, that is where people like us will make a big difference. And most people don't realize it, because 90% of the time or 95% there is no problem. Everything goes well.
Right.
But only in those small percentage of time when things go wrong. And we have a very recent example where the Israel and Iran
Yeah.
conflict happened. Israel starting bombing Iran, and all of this happened in the middle of the night. So overnight the airspace was closed. So we had few hundreds of customers across various parts of Europe who were scheduled to come back, and their flights got cancelled for no reason, right? Nobody's fault. During that period, and it's very anxious. Like imagine you are at Zurich airport and suddenly your flight is cancelled. You don't know what to do.
True.
And that is the time when somebody like us will come in, because if you've booked it via an OTA, who do you call?
Yeah.
There's nobody, right? You can't sit there and call a toll-free number who are, most of the times a bot will answer and you might not get a response. And that is where a brand like us comes in, who is a human first. There will always be somebody a real person who you can always talk to. There is 24/7 customer support that we offer. So during this time, when the flights got cancelled, people were in absolute panic. There was always somebody talking to them, calming them down. Don't worry, we are here. We will take care of it. We not only arranged for rescheduling of those flights. In some cases, the next flight was 24 hours or 48 hours later for various reasons, because the entire air travel was disrupted during that time. We even arranged for people to stay for that night or next 2 days for them to stay with no questions asked, without thinking whether it is make commercial sense or not, because we thought that it was a responsibility to bring those customers back safely. And in times of these is when, to answer your question, how can you turn adversity into loyalty? Because the customers those might be few hundreds of them, but they were so elated and they were so happy about this fact that in times of this, because they would also be exposed to a lot of people who didn't know what to do, and they didn't have somebody who would probably help them, guide them, or calm them down and offer some alternatives.
Right.
But we did that without any questions asked. In fact, after that experience, we actually formally launched a program which we've recently launched last week, called, because times are uncertain, right? This is likely to happen again.
Yeah.
So we've launched something which is called TravSure, Travel with Confidence, where we are offering free scheduling, rescheduling, free cancellations, 24/7 support was always there, and even additional trip protection in case something like this happens. Free rescheduling, and this is it's not an industry norm. Any airline will always charge you for rescheduling. They will charge you for cancellations. But we said no questions asked. In case of any geopolitical event like this happens, we will always take care of you.
Right, got it. We are talking about adversity, and there's one adversity that we all cannot, stop talking about, which is COVID, which happened in 2019. And I know it's been a long year that it happened, but most of the businesses, COVID was an inflection point for them, but travel took a major hit. And a lot of the travel companies almost couldn't survive, and a few of them were able to succeed and also able to flourish after that. Not just survive, but still continue the path of growing. So how was it for you guys?
What we did during COVID itself is a in-depth topic for a full podcast can be done. In fact, I get invited to a lot of these forums to talk about what we did during COVID and how did you survive, because frankly, immediately after COVID, when travel was back, we've had our finest years.
Yeah,
we've done finest, whatever.
Because the thing is, marketing until before COVID would have probably been seen as some form of a communication or some form of a strategizing that you could probably have in hand, and then later, based on the strategy, you just distribute the communication. Could be digital, could be media, could be print, whatsoever. But after COVID hit, and the way you guys survived, their marketing definitely couldn't have been the point where it's just stuck with communication. It had to stabilize as well. It had to play a role coming into the business function and also stabilize the entire ecosystem. So how did all of that play out?
Yeah, so in the interest of time, like I said, I can do a full podcast of 45 minutes on how we survive in COVID, but in the interest of time, I'll try to give you a gist. One of the things that we realized very quickly that this is not going to go away. For 6 months, actually, nobody knew what we would do. We were just constantly thinking of what are the new ways or what are the new products to look after within India, what are diversification and all of that. But as after 6 months or so, when markets slowly started opening up. Dubai was the first one who to open up. They said we are open to travel and those kind of things. The first thing that we did, we realized that people were very, very scared because nobody had seen anything like that, right? So one of the biggest initiatives, and I think we were the only company who did it during that time in the travel space. Obviously, others were doing it in their own ways. Is we actually tied up with Apollo hospitals because we were travel experts. We don't know anything about health, right?
Right.
Me going and telling people that you are safe with us is not going to convince us. So we partnered with Apollo hospitals to create a program where Apollo and hospitals and team inspected the entire touch points, entire customer journey and build a set of protocols for us to follow when people not only came from the time they came to our branches to the time they traveled. How will we take care of them when they are traveling with us?
Right.
And it was actually certified by them. And we call this as Trav Shield, generously borrowed from Covishield because Covishield was really the talk of the town that time. Generously borrowed from Trav Shield and named this as a safety protocol program from Thomas Cook,
Right.
which we took to customers. We and religiously followed these protocols,
Right.
which to a certain extent convince customers that because what had also started happening while the markets were opening up, while some people were afraid or there was some fear, but people were also itching to go out, right? Because everybody was locked for almost a year. So there was this inherent need or urge to travel, but fear was also there. So to convert those fence sitters, there was no way I could have converted somebody who was really afraid and had no urge also. But to convert those fence sitters, this program helped. So this was an initiative which marketing worked with product and the operations team in association with Apollo, which we did, and we started taking to the market, and that made a big difference. And slowly and steadily, when some of these initial, we call them as brave because they were brave to travel during that time, otherwise because most people were scared. When these brave people started traveling, we started also recording their experiences real time, and making testimonials of them, videos of them, use social media very extensively to start showcasing people that one, it is not as bad as what you think when outside. World has started to open up slowly and steadily, and and in case something happens, we NHS have this safe travel program where you are taken care of, and over on top of that, for any financial issues, we had also taken some additional insurance. We also offered some no cost EMI, multiple things. Like I said, I have a 45-minute thing, but I think this was more or less the crux.
Today with AI, analyzing customer journeys, mapping them and trends and etc. Very effortlessly. How do you think it is going to shape up in the future because before AI came in, AI was always there. It was always there. It's just that it got a little hyped when it started talking about ChatGPT and all of that. AI was always there. But before that, at least in the business domain, we were always talking about MarTech, implement MarTech in your systems, etc. But now we're talking about you should have already had MarTech so that you can have AI as well to complement it. So what's your take on the entire thing?
See, for us, AI is actually playing a bigger role in the core business itself. Obviously, it is helping MarTech like everybody is there. But I think the way we are using it is also completely different and very natural to, and like I said, core to our business. See, one of the challenges that we had when it comes to personalizing a holiday. See, one big part of our business is group tour, which is largely pre-packaged, pre-decided, not much room for flexibility and all of that, which is okay. But increasingly younger customers don't want to do a group tour. They want to personalize their holiday. So if I have to purely hyper-personalize your holiday depending on what you want, an 8-day, say, trip to Singapore, kind of food that you want to eat, kind of places that you want to go, not doing touristy things, it was a manual job. Somebody had to actually sit and speak to somebody in Singapore and try to get information, contract it, price it, and then give it to customers, which was almost like it took anywhere between 24 to 48 hours. So which means customers, the experience was not that great, right? Customer is coming into my store thinking that we are a travel expert and asking some a customized package or an experience which took almost 48 hours or 24 hours for me to go back to them with is not a great experience. But with the advent of AI, now we are able to do it real time. And how it is helping is today, if you just ask ChatGPT, create a 8-day Singapore itinerary for a family of 4, you will get an itinerary, right?
True. Yeah.
That is the easier part. The difficult part is to get to check what the real time pricing of that particular experience is. Is that inventory available? Can I block it now? That ChatGPTs or of the world will still not able to do.
True.
But we are able to use the good part of those customizing those itinerary and using that, and we've plugged that into all of our booking engines, and real time we are able to now give you a hyper personalized, completely personalized itinerary with real time inventory tracking and pricing at that point, and you're able to book it online. In fact, we just 2 months ago we had a campaign which is exactly about this, and the film was literally, by the time you finish making an omelette for you, we will actually get your package customized for you and book it on your own.
Right, got it. So we've come to the end of the main segment where it was all about your expertise and then the marketing domain, etc. Next, we are moving on to the rapid fire round. These questions you still don't know.
Okay.
So
Go for it.
this.
Let's go for
okay.
it. Yeah.
First question is a campaign you wish you had worked on.
Yeah, in my time, I don't know how many of you would remember that, but a Vodafone campaign, you and I in this beautiful
yeah,
world, that
yeah.
pug campaign, right? It was
So
beautiful. Yeah.
we did a World Marketing Day campaign where we ran a LinkedIn a post. So where we asked people to share their most memorable campaigns that was there while they were growing up. This was one of the campaigns that they had shared.
I was in advertising that time, so everybody felt that why did we think of it? It's such a simple thing.
Your all-time favorite marketing book or a podcast?
I won't say all time, but recently I've discovered a book called How Brands Grow. And it is actually challenging a lot of fundamentals of what the Kotlers of the world taught you.
Got it. Next question is, brand you think is absolutely nailing it right now outside of your own?
Currently, I think I really admire what Zomato does. Zomato is really good at. Amul has been an evergreen brand when it comes to topical advertising.
Right.
I think they're something to do it for so many years consistently is an amazing job. So Amul for topical and Zomato, how constantly they are not just reinventing how they communicate, how they engage, but the speed at what they do, and also for their creativity and quirkiness, I think. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. What's one piece of career advice you often give but struggle to follow yourself?
This also has changed over a period of time. I don't know if this. I've always thought that you have to be good at one thing, and if you are really good at that thing, you will obviously excel.
Right.
Focus on that, sharpen your tools, sharpen your skills within that one thing, and it will work over a period of time. But I think, like I said, I mean, it is not true for myself, because if I was good at something, and it actually changes. You can do that in your initial phases of your career, but as you grow, you have to become well-rounded at multiple things, right? I might not be great at SEO or SEM or AI usage of this, but unless and until I have some idea or understand the basics of it or core of it, I will not be able to direct my teams to or get the work done from the teams to do it, right? So I always thought that you have to be good at one thing, but I think it is not true for me as well, because I'm also constantly changing and you have to adapt and become more of a generalist than a specialist.
Okay. That's a quote.
Yeah.
It's promo worthy
Yeah.
though. I'm going to use it on the promo. Okay. Last question for the rapid fire round. It is, if not marketing, what would you be doing?
I don't know. I used to love music, though I'm very bad at suck at it. I used to also play cricket during my college days. So either that, but I was not good enough to do it, but I would have done something around it.
So yes, that is the end of rapid fire. And next, we move on to have you ever. Is this your first actually video telecast or something that you're doing?
No, I've done a few,
You've done a few,
but not in this format. Formats are different, but
Yeah.
I've done quite a few in online, the different formats. But maybe sitting and
Down,
talking
gotcha.
constantly would be the first. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So we're moving to the have you ever segment. So these are your 3 placards. This is if you've done it. This is the yes one. This is for no.
Got it.
And if there's some answers which you would not want to answer, you can show
Okay.
this. Okay. Have you ever completely changed a campaign idea last minute and it turned out better than expected? Okay. Yes, everybody. I think most of the marketers would have done that.
You can't. It always changes over a period of time. How you thought about it and how it ends, many a times is not exactly the same.
Right.
But it always for the better. Most times it has turned out to be better.
Better.
Sometimes but yeah, can't always succeed.
Okay. Next question. Have you ever launched something you weren't sure would work and were shocked by the results?
Maybe no.
No.
Can't think of something. If it's taking so much time, then
no.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Third question. Have you ever had to defend a bold, creative idea against strong opposition?
Yeah. Many times. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever borrowed inspiration from a completely unrelated industry?
Yeah. Always. All the time.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Last question. Have you ever looked back at an old campaign and thought, wow, we were ahead of our time?
You just made me think about that with the Guinness World Record. I had actually forgotten it myself. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, that is the end of Have You Ever and the entire episode. So thank you so much, Avinash. It was wonderful talking to you, having you here. Super candid and super insightful. I think this time was not enough to cover everything you had to say, though. So we could have...
Could have been, but
Yeah.
but it's fine. Some other time.
Sure.
Some other
Thank
time.
you so much,
Thank you very
Avinash.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Pleasure.